In this chapter, we're going to be talking about the monetary system. In particular, we will talk a lot about money and talk about what assets are considered money, what are the functions or role and types of money, how do banks create money, and how does any central bank, or in the case of the United States, the US Central Bank or the Federal Reserve, control the amount of money or the quantity of money in an economy. So, in other words, how does the Fed control money supply? So, let's start with a really basic question and ask ourselves, can an economy function without money? And if you think about it, you might come to an answer that is actually yes. Okay? You might say, well, yes, historically we've seen a system in which without money, people have traded one good or service for another. So historically, we've seen a system where people exchange a good or service for another. And you're familiar with this term. This is known as the barter system or a barter economy, in which you would have something like this, where you would have a person, let's say this person is a farmer, and the farmer has a cow, and his neighbor has something else that the farmer wants, like a plow. Okay, so this person is the neighbor, and let's say the neighbor also wants something from the farmer. So the farmer wants the plow, the neighbor wants the cow, and they would enter into this mutual exchange and be happy. Okay, now the problem with this is that every transaction would require a double coincidence of wants. Which is a very unlikely occurrence because two people each have to have a good or a service that the other wants. So most people would have to spend a lot of time searching for others to trade with, which is a huge waste of time and resources. Okay, so a lot of time and energy gets used up in just finding a person who has what you want and they have and you have what they want. So to avoid problems with barter, societies developed in a way and identified or had an incentive to identify a product that most people would accept for what they have to trade. So one way we progressed from that point was in colonial days. Animal skins were very useful in making clothing. And that was something that people identified a lot of or associated a lot of value with. Okay, and so people would buy goods and services in exchange for animal skins. Okay, and so here's a fun fact: the first governor of Tennessee received a salary of 1,000 deer skins per year. This is telling you that deer skins were actually a commodity that people associated a lot of value with. And so it could serve as clothing, it could also serve as something that you could use to exchange or to buy goods and services. So it had some kind of a transactional value. This brings us to the definition of money in the modern era. So in the modern era, of course, the searching becomes unnecessary with money. Because money is a set of assets in the economy that people regularly use to buy goods and services from each other. So we've solved that problem of double coincidence of wants earlier, and now people can use money instead. Okay. This brings us to the three different functions of money. Now, one function of money you're very familiar with, which is what we've talked about, which is that it allows us to purchase goods and services whenever we want. Okay? So here we can write down that the first function of money is that it actually acts as a medium of exchange. It's an asset that allows us so it's an item buyers give to sellers when they want to purchase goods and services. Okay. So there is some transactional value to money. The second function of money, or second role it plays, is that it acts as a unit of account, which is to say that it is providing us with a common yardstick. It is the yardstick that people use to post prices and record debts. And this really makes it easy to budget. Imagine, if you wanted to, in the barter economy, how would you assess whether if you traded one cow, whether that's equal to 2 plows, or whether that's equal to 20 bushels of wheat or 30 bushels of wheat. With money, we have one yardstick to post prices and record debts. And this makes it easier for us to understand the value of each good or service, because the unit isn't changing. That's why the function itself is called the unit of account. The last function of money is that it acts as a store of value, which is to say that it is an item or an asset that people can use. So people can use money to transfer purchasing power from the present to the future. Which is to say that you don't have to use all of your dollars to buy goods and services today. You can hold the rest of you can purchase some goods and services today and hold the rest to use in the future. Okay, so you don't have to use all your money today. You know that it's going to act as a store of value. So just to recap, there are three functions of money. One, it acts as a medium of exchange. It has a transactional value. Second, it acts as a unit of account. It is a common yardstick that people use to post prices and record debts. And third, it acts as a store of value. It means you don't have to spend all your money at once. You can actually save some for the future. The next thing we're going to talk about is something interesting, which is about what are the two kinds of money in an economy. And to illustrate this point further, before I show you the definitions, we'll watch a nice video from the movie The Shawshank Redemption. I don't know how many of you have seen this, but it's a really great movie with a phenomenal actor, Morgan Freeman, in it. So here is a clip, and I want you to watch something that's going on.
Let's go! Some of us got a schedule to keep. Move it! Cut! Move it! Bob, how you doing? How's the wife treat you?
Easy. Keep it moving. Go.
Red.
Step it up.
Okay, so in the video, we did see an exchange that had happened between Morgan Freeman and the person who was giving him the stuff he wanted. Now, the thing that got exchanged, this is a scene in the prison, the thing that got exchanged were cigarettes, okay? And so this brings us to the first point here about the types of money. The first type of money we will talk about is called commodity money. And commodity money is the type of money that has value independent of its use as money. So in the video you saw that cigarettes were being used as money, but if you think about it, cigarettes could be used as something that is not money, right? Just as cigarettes. So commodity money has the value independent of its use as money. So examples of commodity money include cigarettes in prisoner of war camps, gold coins. So you don't use gold coins as money, you can just use it as gold. You can do something with that, etc. Okay, and the second type of money that exists is called fiat money. So fiat money has no intrinsic value. Right, so commodity money had intrinsic value. Fiat money has no intrinsic value. That is to say that it does not have value outside of its use of money. And fiat money is typically issued by the central bank or or the government in each country. So if you have a dollar note on you, you should pull it out and see if it has some sort of a statement there saying that that is legal tender. Okay, because this is going to say that it can be used as money because the government owes you whatever the denomination of that note is. Okay, so an example of this would be the US dollar. You could take any currency note as long as it's legit to see what it says.